Next year, we will have enough, and we're going to be right back in the same situation, and we're going to get it done.
That was Jimmy Butler last year after the Miami Heat lost to the Boston Celtics in Game 7 on its home floor. A year later, Jimmy Butler was right. He and the Heat had enough. They were in the exact situation this year and got it done. But it wasn't that linear for the Miami Heat, as they struggled during the regular season, and some were even calling for this team to blow it up at one point. As fans and the media doubted this Heat team, Butler's confidence never wavered. "We're going to win the effing championship," Jimmy Butler said after the Heat started 2-5 in October. And then Coco Gauff said that Jimmy Butler DM'd her before the play-in, asking if she wanted tickets to watch Miami in the NBA Finals. Despite being the number 1 seed last year, the Heat entered the postseason as the number 8 seed in the Eastern Conference. Notably, the Heat lost their first matchup of the play-in tournament to the Atlanta Hawks 116-105, and they were down to their last lifeline to get into the playoffs. The Miami Heat's backs were up against the wall, which has been the theme of these playoffs. The Miami Heat then eliminated the Chicago Bulls despite trailing late in the fourth quarter. For the Heat, that win set them up with a first-round matchup against the top-seeded Milwaukee Bucks, and we already know how big of an underdog the Heat were going into this matchup. In lopsided fashion, however, the Heat managed to upset the number 1 seed Milwaukee Bucks as Jimmy Butler and the Heat dug deep to leave the Bucks in absolute shock. Miami eliminated Milwaukee in just 5 games behind Butler's 37.6 points per game in the opening round. This was arguably the biggest upset in NBA history, as the Bucks were the favorites to win the NBA championship. Going into the Eastern Conference semifinals, the Heat were underdogs once again. Miami matched up with an old conference rival, the New York Knicks. And this was setting up to be a great matchup, as the Knicks, they were hungry. They had Jalen Brunson playing at a high level. They had Julius Randle doing his thing, RJ Barrett, and of course, that fan base desperate for some success. Miami didn't care as they jumped out to a 1-0 lead. And then the Heat managed to win 3 of their next 5 games in this series to close it out. Miami did well to win all 3 of their home games in this matchup to eventually win this series 4-2. This series never felt particularly close at all. Then just like that, the Miami Heat were scheduled for an Eastern Conference Finals clash against the Boston Celtics for the 2nd consecutive season and 3rd time in 4 years. With the Heat advancing to the NBA Finals in 2020 and Boston doing so in 2022, the 2023 Eastern Conference Finals served as the rubber match in what has been one of the best rivalries in the modern NBA. The Heat were huge underdogs in this one once again, as ESPN only gave the Heat a 3% chance to win this series. Miami didn't care though. They went into New England to steal the first 2 games of the series, as both contests in Boston were competitive, but the Heat used strong second half play to earn back-to-back wins at TD Garden. Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals was all Miami, from whistle to whistle. The Heat, having led by nearly 30 points in the third quarter, absolutely destroyed Boston to win Game 3 and take a 3-0 series lead. At this point, everybody felt the series was all but over, but the Celtics, they were able to roll back and win 3 in a row to force a decisive Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals, the exact spot the Heat found themselves in last season. But this time, the Heat were on the road. But Miami, as they've shown all year long, were resilient. They didn't care that they were about to become the first team in NBA history to blow an 0-3 lead. They didn't care that they were a huge underdog and had to win this game in Boston. The Heat embraced the challenge, and not only did they win this game, they dominated the Celtics, ripping the heart out of all Celtics fans who thought they were going to witness history. In a flash, the Miami Heat have done the unthinkable and are headed to the 2023 NBA Finals through the play-in tournament. They are, of course, the first team in the play-in era to make the finals from that tournament. Miami are making its 6th NBA Finals appearance and competing for its 4th world title in franchise history. And the Heat have advanced while laughing at the odds makers, being priced as the underdog in each of their 2023 playoff series thus far. And Miami is just the second 8 seed to make the NBA Finals, joining the 1999 Knicks. If the Heat can beat the Nuggets, they'll become the lowest seed ever to win an NBA championship, which would make them the greatest underdog story in NBA history. Jeff Van Gundy says a finals win places this postseason run as the most impressive in league history. And I quote, "If they end up winning the championship, it will be the most unlikely champion that I can remember. They have beaten the teams with the best 2 records in the NBA, and they will have beaten the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. So the journey has been straight through the heart of greatness. Everyone deserves an incredible amount of credit. I just love their team toughness," close quote. And the Heat have one of the most unique rosters to ever make the NBA Finals, featuring 7 players that went undrafted. This team was built primarily through free agent signings, including key players in this playoff run that started on 2-way contracts, as well as key draft picks and trades over the past few years. Going into the NBA Finals now, the Heat are going to once again be billed as a huge underdog. They will be going up against the West number 1 seed, the Denver Nuggets, led by Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. But being a huge underdog on the road to start the series might actually be a good thing for the Heat. They've managed to steal game 1 in each of their first 3 playoff series and obviously wound up winning that series. "I'm just confident," Butler told reporters. "I know the work that we have put into it, so I know what we're capable of. Nobody is satisfied. We haven't done anything. We don't play just to win the Eastern Conference. We play to win the whole thing," close quote. The Miami Heat have been solely focused on their own thing, their own mission. And while doing it, they've become a team that you simply cannot root against. This is a team that many people have fallen in love with. The Miami Heat will now try to regroup for a second before it will be time for them to try to write one last chapter in this amazing story, a story that we can look back on many years from now as being one of the greatest in NBA playoff history. The Miami Heat, what they have done has been absolutely absurd. Nobody saw this coming, and they are just one more series win away from finishing the story with an epic ending. How do you guys see Miami faring in the NBA Finals? I think this Miami Heat team, for as much as they are an underdog, I think that benefits them. I think this Miami Heat team will show up. I think you cannot count this team out. And you know what, guys? I'm going to say it right here. I got this Miami Heat team doing the unthinkable and winning the NBA Finals in 6 games. That is my official prediction for the 2023 NBA Finals. I got Heat in 6. I do think this time around, Jimmy Butler will get it done in the NBA Finals, and the Heat will cap off just an incredible story. So, who do you got winning this series? What has your reaction been to this Miami Heat playoff run? And what do you expect in this year's 2023 NBA Finals? A lot of people are going to say, oh, this is not the finals that people wanted to see or expected. I'll tell you guys one thing. This is going to be an NBA Finals that's going to be epic. There's a lot of great storylines, and if you're a casual, you're not going to like this Finals, but if you're a true NBA fan, you're going to enjoy what I think is about to be a very epic NBA Finals. So we will see how it all plays out, guys, but please let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Please drop a like on the video. It does help a ton, and please subscribe to the channel for more Heat and NBA content just like this. Your support on the channel has been greatly appreciated, and I will keep it rolling as I will be covering the NBA Finals in its entirety. I will be having videos uploaded after every game of the NBA Finals series. That is it for me. This is Lucas signing off. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you all again in the next video.